My name is Father Nowel. I'm a member of the Providence College Friars community here, and on my own behalf and on behalf of all the friars and sisters at Providence College, I want to wish you all a happy Christmas for you and your family, to all the friar family. The readings from today are from the Mass at midnight, and the Gospel has the shepherds. It says here, now there were shepherds in that region living in the fields and keeping the night watch over their flock. The angel of the Lord appeared to them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were struck with great fear. So it's curious to me that this light that split the darkness caused great fear. And there was fear until the angels explained to them, "Do not be afraid, for behold, I proclaim to you good news of great joy. For there will be for all the people in the city of David a Savior born to us, who is Christ the Lord." And it's that harkens back to our first reading from the prophet Isaiah, which gives the reason why this light that split the darkness should not bring fear, but great joy. The people who walked in darkness, Isaiah says, have seen a great light. Upon those who dwelt in the land of gloom, a light has shone. You have brought them abundant joy and great rejoicing, as they rejoice before you at the harvest, as people make merry when dividing spoils. For the yoke that burdened them, the pole on their shoulders, and the rod of their taskmasters, you have smashed as on the day of Midian. For a child is born to us, a son is given to us. Upon his shoulder dominion rests. They name him Wonder Counselor, God Hero, Father forever, Prince of Peace. His dominion is vast and forever peaceful. So it's clear that the reason for our joy and to have no fear is because the light that shattered the darkness of our world is because Jesus, the Son of God, was born among us, and that God sent His Word, His only begotten Son, to be born among us, to be one of us, and to make us His own. And that cataclysmic event in the life of humankind is something that should not make us fearful, but should bring us joy. That's the source of the joy of our day. And that's what I'd like us to think about today. I grew up in a Polish-American family where we celebrated Christmas in traditional ways. We would gather as a family to watch, every Christmas, we'd gather to watch an opera called Amal and the Night Visitors, which is a Menotti opera sung in English about a crippled boy living in the Middle East who notices a star. And instead of being afraid, he wonders about the star. And then that night, 3 kings come to visit on their way to find this great event. So we watch that as a family together. On Christmas Eve, we gather for our traditional Vigilia dinner, the vigil dinner of Christmas, and all the traditional Polish foods. And we'd start off by sharing a blessed bread, a wafer with a picture of the stable and the star and the Holy Family there, and the Christ child, the newborn Christ child. And we pass around that bread with good wishes for our brothers and sisters and our parents and all the guests who are gathered. The traditional Vigilia meal would have an empty place set for the uninvited guest, for the unexpected guest. To remember the fact that Joseph and Mary found no place to stay as they entered Bethlehem looking for a place to have the child. The traditional Vigilia would have straw under the tablecloth to symbolize the stable and the manger. We didn't have the straw under the table. Our table was messy enough. But we remembered that Joseph and Mary had no place to stay. We'd sing Christmas carols. We'd sing, of course, Frosty the Snowman and Jingle Bells, but we'd also sing Polish carols. We'd sing Dzisiaj Bethlehem, Today in Bethlehem. We'd sing the traditional English carols. We'd sing the Polish Christmas carol, In the Silence of the Night, to remember that the reason for our joy is because the Christ was born. Christmas I'll never forget was the last Christmas my parents and the children spent together, because my dad was really sick. And we all knew that this was our last Christmas with him. And he gave my mother a present. And when she opened it, she started to cry. I can't even remember what the present was. But my dad, with his great sense of humor, made a joke about she's starting to cry because it wasn't what she expected. Of course, we all knew that she was crying because she was realizing that this is the last time the family would spend Christmas together. But the reason it sticks in my mind is because the joy of knowing the difference that the Christ child made in our lives, the fact that every Christmas we gather together with Christ as the center and the cause of our joy, cast out the fear of what lay ahead on my dad's journey. And that's what I'd like us to think about today. That if, when you celebrate Christmas with your families, the traditions you hand on to them center around Christ as the cause of our joy. And the light that splits the darkness of our journey is not some red nose on some reindeer that will light our journey, but the light that guides us is the presence of Christ in our midst, the cause of our joy and the reason for the season. So from all of us here at Providence College, we wish you a happy Christmas and joy throughout the year.